Good afternoon, morning, night, or evening, depending on where you're watching from. And actually, for the first time, I'm going to say, feel free to let me know where you're watching from in the chat. It would be nice to know if we have any other continents watching other than Europe, because this particular tournament is in Europe. But it'd be nice to know if we have any North Americans, South Americans, anything like that. It'd be nice to know. So today we have a match on our hands between Kool Kids Club and VVV, otherwise known as Veni, Vidi, Vici. First tank is going to be Carl, and the map is going to be, as you can see on your screens, Dark Carnival. Arguably, alongside the Parish, one of the most popular maps. So the introduction is just going to be me for today. I'm the only caster for today. There is going to be another match after this, guys, so feel free to check in, I would say maybe about an hour, 45 minutes after this one, because there is going to be another one at 9 p.m. CET, which for me, I'm actually from England, so that'd be 8 for me. So anybody who's from the UK or Portugal, that's going to be 8 for you guys. Otherwise, anybody centrally, that's going to be 9. That'll be after this game. So we've got 2 matches, and both of them will be casted by myself. Myself being Harold. Obviously, I have to introduce our cameraman and provider of the servers we are playing on, which is going to be Midnight. So a special thanks to Midnight for making all of this very possible. So, roster rundown. On the Survivor side, I'm going to be honest, some of these names are a little different to what they actually are known as within the community. What I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to just say the names that they have chosen for this game. Because a lot of the times I'm like otherwise known as, and it gets a bit confusing. So on the Survivor side, otherwise it will be the Kool Kids Club will be Frey, Mr. Gier, however you want to pronounce it, Slipknot, and Surreal. And over on the Infected side, Veni, Vidi, Vici, we have Relax, Flickshot, Carl, and Forelo. The only infected spawns I can see at the moment is going to be the Smoker, Jockey, Spitter, and Charger. So they do actually, for this first setup, they have a 3-1, including a Spitter, so no boom. What they have to consider here actually is that this is a very open area. So the Charger may have a little difficulty landing on anybody to begin with. It's going to be dependent on what the Jockey and Smoker can provide for him, if they can provide any opportunities to get maybe a charge spit combination. The other thing as well to keep in mind is that the Smoker and the Jockey, they actually, as much as they do render a survivor immobile in the sense that they can't actually do anything, when you free them, they don't have a get-up animation, so they can immediately escape. So really the only extended damage they can hope for here is the Charger, because if he charges somebody into a wall, or if he kind of runs out of range with somebody connected, he will actually give them like a get up animation, and they'll have to get up in the spit. Obviously, these guys are pretty good. They know how the game works. I'm sure they are very aware of all these mechanics, and especially considering these guys have actually made it this far as well, because we're not actually that early into the tournament anymore. We are getting quite far into, and there's actually going to be 4 games in total across this today and tomorrow time frame. We are going live now. This is the first of 4 games which will be played. As I say, next one coming up later today, and then 2 more tomorrow. Most likely I will be casting those as well. So we'll have to stay tuned. As I say, Smoker, Jockey, Spitter, and the Charger will be the initial setup. The Survivors are taking a steady approach. Smoker spawned up on top of the sign. They're going to land onto one Survivor. Everybody went for the exact same target there, unfortunately, though. Charger does land a scratch. That was 1 scratch in total. It's a little bit of damage from everybody else, but not too much. So that is going to conclude the first attack. Not very much happened other than a Charger scratch, but every Charger scratch will count because it is 10 damage total. Meanwhile, I'm going to reduce my game volume because that's a bit loud. There we are. So the final spawn will be coming up in 7 seconds. Not really enough time unless the Boomer can land here. They do actually have a Boomer at the... he did look for a spawn behind that car, but he wasn't able to get anything. So they're probably going to go for the bridge. Generally, if the Survivors shut down the first attack very quickly and then move forward at a reasonable rate, they can make it to the bridge. We do have a pause. first pause of the game. It appears that 4LO on the infected side is having a few difficulties with his internet connection. Ping going as high as 321, which, you know, you probably want to pause if it's that high. That's going to delay a lot. That's going to make it very difficult to play. See, they're having connection problems. So they do have a charger again. And they have readied up. So the infected side is ready. Survivor side is ready. So that we're going live. This time, you know, they have a boomer, they have a smoker, they have a charger. The final spawn as well is a jockey. So actually they have the same setup as last time. The only difference is they've replaced the spitter with a boomer. That's basically what's happened here. So we do have 2 infected spawns looking like they're going to go from ground level behind the Jeep there, which is quite interesting. Generally, what you see is people will go on the bridge and they'll just kind of jump down onto the survivors. But I like that they're varying their strategies here. I do hear a witch as well. Can't quite find her, actually. She's... oh, actually, no, she's in a precarious position. That would be why they're on ground level, because she's in between the pillars there behind that lorry. So they're probably going to deal with her before they go under this bridge, because otherwise they're going to have a lot to deal with. They don't want to be under that bridge while the witch is running after them. That's going to be a recipe for disaster. They do have shotguns. They only have 1 shotgun, mind you. Boomer doesn't manage to get anybody here. Unfortunately, the witch does in-cap Rochelle there. Perhaps there'd have been a miscommunication going on. There's charger scratches on a jockeyed victim here. He's being absolutely pounded, and he gets charged. He could even go down here. This could be 2 in-caps. He just barely escapes with his life there. Well, not with his life, but, you know, he escapes the possibility of an in-cap. So that is 1 close and near in-cap and 1 actual in-cap, which was done by the witch. Therefore, which, as you may or may not know, that if the witch does successfully incapacitate somebody, there is no bonus points awarded for her, for killing her, basically. Tank has now spawned. I pre-signed this at the beginning of the match, and it will be in the hands of Carl, who's spelling the A there with a 4. Spitter is going to sack the spawn. That spit went into no man's land. Jockey's moving in onto Nick, and actually manages to incap him. Boomer behind the fence. A very nice position by the Boomer there. Very difficult to actually shut him down, because you have to shoot through the wall to get him, which means more bullets are needed to actually kill him. Tank is moving the car in, which I do agree with, that they just barely revived Nick there. He's going to be using his medkit, so that's 1 medkit down. Surreal, aka Rochelle, has used a set of pain pills, but he has chosen, instead of using the temporary HP, to actually use his medkit. The tank has moved the car into a precarious position here, but again, we have another pause, actually. So, yeah, in the meantime, we can see where that car is positioned. It's a bit of a scary position, and plus Nick, as you can see on your screens there, Nick is actually separated from his team. So they need to be very careful of this. They have 3 survivors. They have 3 survivors on the billboard, and they have 1 survivor on the bridge. They really do need to be watching him very closely, because he is at a big risk for that car. He's probably going to need to jump down, actually, below the bridge. Tank is going to be moving for that car. Nick is doing exactly that, moving under the bridge. The tank is going to chase him and separate him there. He is now very separated. Coach is just punched into no man's land over the fence. There is a Hunter moving after Rochelle, trying to pin her. He gets very nicely shut down, but unfortunately he's right in front of the tank. But again, Surreal, unfortunately, is unable to see the tank, which... You know, I think he did do the record feature, because, you know, sometimes if you do record, you can fix this issue, but unfortunately he's done all that, so not really sure what's going on here, really. It's very unfortunate on the side of the Cool Kids Club. Obviously, Surreal, aka Rochelle, did do a good job there shutting down the Hunter. But unfortunately, he had no choice, really, but to run away from the Hunter into the path of the tank's car. It was also a pretty good decision by the SI to also chase Nick down. Like I said, I mean, I was saying it quite a lot, but basically, they really needed to be very careful of Nick there, because Nick was very separated, and they utilized quite well on that. So yeah, we'll be resuming fairly soon, and we'll have to see how this plays out, because that car could actually be in a good enough position to kill Rochelle, unless of course there is a restart. But it doesn't look like we're going to be doing that, so we will be playing on. Series of unfortunate events, really, as we are seeing here. So we'll see where the car has landed. It has landed in a reasonable position to actually secure the kill onto Rochelle. He's not opting to do that, though. There is a charger in the back. A lot of separation. Everybody is in different directions. There's 2 survivors in caps on different sides of the map, pretty much. The tank is looking to kill Rochelle, and he will successfully do that. 1 more hit, and Rochelle is a goner. They've shut down the smoker, so that is 2 spawns down and a boomer up. They need to be careful of that boomer if they want any chance of surviving this. Although the boomers can't really get a spawn here. It's a very open area. The tank doesn't really have to advance here. He can just hide behind this car. He is on 2,000 health, so 1 clip from everybody should be able to shut down the tank. They do actually allow the boomer to land onto 1 survivor. Car moves in, but it lands in a very bad position. He's just going to have to screw the car and just go straight. Punch landing onto Ellis, some interception, temporarily landing. The tank is still on 800 HP. They need to kill him if they want any chance of moving further forward. He's going to just barely miss the in-cap on Nick there. That was a very clutch kill on the tank. Jockey's moving in for some last-minute damage. He will be cleared very instantaneously, so they have 1 medkit, but two people need a heal. So they're not in the best position. Slipknot, aka Ellis, has chosen to use his medkit. So in this game, you can only move as fast as your slowest survivor, and in this case, that will be Frey, aka Nick. He is on 20 HP, and therefore his movement speed is drastically reduced. The advantage is that they don't have an alarm car to worry about because the tank did put that into play, so it won't be... We have the spawns moving in now. Charger moving in, successfully landing onto Coach in the room there, as well as the... actually not as well as the Spit. It connects with him briefly, but it was on the other side of the room, so it didn't spread through the room, so he actually did not get in-caps there. A little bit unfortunate on the infected side. If he was in-caps, then they maybe would have gotten another attack here as a result of having to revive Coach. They still have quite a few choke points to make it through, but, you know, they are capable, and obviously every little bit of distance points is going to count here because, yeah, they really do need to make this count. The jockey is M2'd and shut down very quickly. Boomer's going to rocket in, landing on 2 survivors, and the only non-Boomer survivor in the back will be pulled and incapacitated. They don't know where he is. They need to be communicating as sharply as they can. He needs to be saying he is behind. They do recognize that, and they are going to try and revive him. Smoker is waiting on top. He's going to jump down and scratch him so he doesn't get revived. They're trying to prevent that, but they're not able to, and the Smoker does actually manage to escape with 127 HP, so just ever so slightly above half HP. Coach is still incapacitated. Charger moving in. He gets a charge scratch, actually, combination, as well as a jockey onto Ellis. This could be all they... Oh, yeah, this is all she wrote. This is over. They did well to kill the tank with 3 survivors, but unfortunately they are going to accumulate a total of 224 distance points on this Dark Carnival map 1. Not the worst in the world, really. They still have, even if let's just put this into theory, right? Even if the survivors make it with absolutely perfect 100 HP, all which they won't, by the way. You know, but if they did, every medkit, they killed the witch perfectly, killed the tank perfectly. There's still not that huge of a margin. You know, they've still created some kind of, I would say, some leeway, considering they had three players there. A little bit unfortunate that Surreal couldn't see the tank, but unfortunately, you just gotta deal with it. Really, sometimes it happens. Very unfortunate, and very sad for them. So the tank on this map is going to be. Hey. Midnight Wizard chat. There you are. So this tank is going to be in the hands of Frey. Frey will become the tank. So initial setup will be exactly the same as the previous round, which is going to be the 3-1 with the Spitter, which is going to be the Jockey, Smoker, Spitter, and the Charger. We'll have to see how they play this and if they can play it slightly better, because the last round, the only damage they really got was the Charger scratch, and that was the extent of it. Smoker from behind moving in. The tongue is cut by the pillar there. The Charger is in the bushes. He might not be able to even land the scratch here. He doesn't land the scratch, but the damage was actually very similar because of the Jockey landing for that a length of time. Similar damage. They're just going to have to hope that they do get spawns in time for the Witch. We do have Nick, aka Forolo, who is the mentor of this team, actually. He has the shotgun. He might be looking to go for the Witch, but he's not going to be able to do it with no spawns. At least 1 spawn will be up, which will be a Boomer. So they have a Boomer, Smoker, Spitter, and a Charger, which will be positioned in the same as last round, same position, which is going to be between the pillars underneath the bridge. They don't have a Jockey. we'll have to see how they play this, really, because the only way I can see this working is if they pin the shotgun target. Perhaps with the charger, if he can charge the shotgun victim, well, the shotgun player, then they might make something work. In he moves now, in moves the witch. They do pull him into the witch. That's exactly what they needed to do. They pulled him into the witch and got the in-cap. That was brilliant infected gameplay right there. The charge is going to be moving in, just not really to land on anybody, just simply to stop him from getting up so they have more time to prepare later on. The Spitter just about survives there on 10 HP, so the Spitter will be respawning behind. I really loved what they did with the Smoker there. They pulled him so that his remote crown was made very difficult, and difficult enough that he actually was in-capped, so really they're in identical shape almost to the previous team, which is exactly what they want. They denied that bonus point, and they need to deny bonus points as they possibly can. Tank is now spawned and in the hands of Frey. He will be looking to do the same thing with the cars, perhaps move them into a better position. Then again, though, the survivors are moving back. Hunter moving in. He's going to be... not sure what happened there. He got dead stopped, but he ended up basically inside the view model of Ellis there, so he completely stopped moving as well as Ellis. I suppose this is a smart decision, really, because this eliminates the risk of the car. Because the thing is like, you know, I'm going to be completely honest, the map design is questionable because you can see on your cameras here all these cars and actually none of them are hittable. So it's to their advantage moving back, for sure. I do agree with the decision. And also, you know, another reason it's a good decision is because the tank is on 80 or 90% of his second pass. So even if he wanted to play a long tank, which would be throwing rocks from a distance, he can't really do that for very long unless he lands some brilliant rocks. He is choosing to move into the bushes, though, which is a good decision in terms of, you know, they can't see him very well. Looking like he throws some rocks from this position. Nick is bleeding. His health is temporarily decreasing. They are going to move in. They land a boomer onto one survivor. This could be what they need. He punches Nick once and twice. Second time around, in move the spawns. Jockey's moving in. He's just pouncing around in the distance. The rock does miss, though, and he's going to try and secure the in-cap onto Nick. Oh, and no, unfortunately, he does miss the punch there. Lands another punch, in move the spawns. Charger's going to move in for Coach there. He just barely misses, but the stumble may allow the jockey to land. It does not allow him to land. Rock moves in onto Coach there, but it's shut down by the Uzis. There's 523 health on the tank there. He's going to be hiding in the bushes, just throwing the rocks. They're probably going to look to push him because I'm sure they're aware he's quite low. Hunter's going to be pouncing around. He almost created the perfect distraction for a rock to land. Hunter is shut down with relative ease there. They do have a smoker and a charger up at the moment. Really, they want to try to synchronize this a little bit more if they want to land some rocks and get the health. Survivors are going to choose to push forward. They're dealing with the rocks perfectly. And, you know, Charger moving in from the back. He's already taken already half of his HP. He's going to be shut down very quickly. Curve rock round the corner of the bus there. Does not make a connection. Smoker will be perishing there. That rock's in no man's land. That's going to be that's not going to be hitting anybody. So he's going to be moving forward. But I mean, no, he's just going to move the tank back and move it to AI because really he's only at 500 HP. Just by showing his face alone, all they need to do is unleash at least one clip from one person. And he's a goner, so they have chosen to kill him off, essentially. He'll be chasing off. Thing is, though, is that because he's so far back, the distance points are frozen. So they're going to look to get as much damage as they can while these distance points are frozen. It was a pretty good decision, really, considering the circumstances. They have a boomer, jockey, charger, and a hunter, so they don't have a smoker for the separation. They might be looking to attack at the billboard, although the survivors are looking to wait maybe at the billboard, or they're going to keep going forward. No, they're going to wait at the billboard. Smart decision. They know that the distance points are frozen. They can't really risk anything. If they end up dying here, then, you know, they're going to be behind. Literally, they will be behind on points. Tank's moving in. He's going to die very quickly, and that will secure the kill on the tank. He did land 3 punches in total. All of those were onto Nick. Unfortunately, the special infected could... the tank played well considering his situation, but he couldn't really play any better, honestly. He couldn't do anything more. Just very good survivor play and unfortunate infected play. Boomer from below is going to look to try and get a boom. He doesn't manage to connect with anybody. Jockey's moving in from the front. He'll be shut down. Charger charges into the doorway. 1 damage pounce onto Rochelle. That will be cleared. Some scratches onto her. Well, one scratch onto her, so that's some damage. You know, they want to try and get rid of the medkits at the very least. You know, if they want to do something, they want to try and eliminate the medkits. As we can see on the scoreboard, because they have 4 survivors, they have already surpassed their previous round opponents in distance points. So they're going to accumulate more distance points per unit, I guess I should say, compared to the previous team. Spitter, Smoker, Boomer, and a Jockey will be the setup here. Very open area and very unideal spawns for an open. Smoker's going to move in there. Did I say Charger? There's a Charger. Spitter's going to be moving in, but he really can't make anything happen there. They had arguably the worst setup in L4D2 2, which is a Jockey, Smoker, Spitter, and a Boomer. The reason why that would be the least ideal setup, mainly because, you know, as I said before, the Hunter and the Charger allow you to give the survivors a get-up animation, which means that they have to stay in Spit for a certain period of time. You can't really do that with a Jockey and a Smoker. Or a Jockey or a Smoker, even. Hunter, Charger, Smoker, and a Spitter for the final setup. Charger from around the corner gets a charge scratch combination. That's 20 damage total. Hunter is dead, stopped and killed. A little bit of Spit damage onto Ellis. Not nearly enough to get rid of any medkits, especially considering they're outside the safe room. They will be entering the safe room with quite a good bonus here. No witch bonus, but they are going to accumulate the bonus points for 3 medkits. They're going to secure themselves a pretty good margin here. But like I say, because because the previous team got 224 points, the margin isn't massive. You know, I have to say, a bit of it can be attributed to the fact that perhaps they couldn't really see the tank, and that could have really been to their demise a little bit. They did lose a whole survivor because of that. But, you know, it seems like all issues have been resolved, so they can get back into this game, hoping that their morale is still up, because it's very easy to lose morale when you press tab and you look at the scores and you can see that you're behind by a few hundred. But, you know, it's nothing to worry about as far as I'm concerned, as far as anybody should be concerned. It's not a big enough margin to worry about. And I'm going to assign the tank, which is going to be to Slipknot. Not going to lie, I'm just imagining a really big Corey Taylor as the tank because of that name. That'd be kind of... So, the first attack here, traditionally, is positioned on top of the safe room roof, which obviously is what they're going to do here. They do have a Charger, they do have a Boomer and a Smoker. They don't have a Spitter. Honestly, I'd say a Spitter and a Boomer are, in my opinion, equally as good as one another in this area. Boomer's going in first. He shows himself too early, though, and gets shut down. Charger just barely misses there onto Coach. He'll be shut down. Everybody will be shut down. They didn't even take 1 damage. The only damage they took there was friendly fire, which was 1 damage onto 2 survivors. So, unfortunately, the infected actually did less damage than they did to themselves, which I suppose, to be honest, considering the choke point, you know, it's very... I mean, it's a hard one to pull off, really. It's very difficult to pull that one off successfully. And especially because the Boomer kind of showed himself a bit too early, so he ended up getting shut down very, very quickly. They are going to have a Jockey, Smoker, Hunter, and a Boomer, so no Charger. Boomer from behind the hot dog stand there, lands onto 1 survivor. Hunter moving in, could get a tri-cap here, very, very close, just barely missing the tri-cap. They do get, you could argue that may have been a little bit of a tri-cap. The Jockey lands a little bit after. Actually, honestly, that was a very well-coordinated attack by Kool Club there, showing themselves to be very coordinated when they want to be. And obviously, if the Jockey landed maybe a second sooner, that could have been a tri-cap onto all of the non-boom survivors, and that could have been a lot more devastating. But nonetheless, if you press tab and have a look, they have taken a fair bit of damage already. Reloading. So they have a Boomer, Smoker, Spitter, and a Charger. They have the Smoker to set up for the Charger, potentially. Both are from behind. Smoker's going to pull Nick in the back there, and the Charger's going to move in onto him. He does actually make a connection, but he's shut down mid-par. Spitter spits a little bit too far behind them, so they won't be delayed by that. Honestly, I personally think the Charger should have charged Nick, the pulled victim, into the wall there. That would have guaranteed some spit charge combination, and would have given them a little bit more damage than they would have hoped for there. Tank is now spawned in the hands of Slipknot, and again, I just can't stop thinking of a huge Corey Taylor, but, you know, there you go. Spawns will be coming up. There'll be a charger, jockey, and a hunter. So no boomer. You know, they're probably going to be wanting a boomer, especially in an open area, because in an open area, lots of area to kind of dodge the spawns. Slipknot's tank is going to be moving the dumpster in there, and oh, I thought I got caught in the tree there. There's a nice jockey charger combination. He could even be in-capped by this. He is in-capped. Perfect. You know what, guys? This is exactly what we want to see in terms of infected gameplay. I was too busy looking at the tank, moving the dumpster into position that I didn't see that amazing jockey charger combination. Dumpster was looking like it was going to hit somebody there. That's absolutely amazing. They actually managed to get an incapacitation there. So that the attack at the hot dog stands just before they get into the house, and that attack there is exactly what they need to keep doing. They need to keep this communication that they've clearly integrated, and they need to keep up this level of synchronization. You know, Infected is all about synchronization, and it's all about attacking with each other to make sure that you know, get some damage, which is exactly what they've done. Tank's just repositioned now. He's looking for a position to get these dumpsters into play. They are behind a tree, so he needs to be careful how he hits. He's going for the one behind the railing there. Not sure I agree with that because it's going to be difficult. He's trying to move in a dumpster. Rochelle is separated, but she does manage to clear it. Dumpster just barely misses the survivors, unfortunately. Is moving another one in, and unfortunately they're both behind the survivors. He's going to be forgetting about the dumpsters. He gets a punch onto Nick, so he's got some damage. Charger moves in, but only gets a little bit of stumble damage. Tank is moving the dumpster in onto Coach, but he's behind the railing there, so... Oh my goodness, he just barely misses that. He's got another chance here. They're in a bad position, but it hits off the ride there. They may be able to kill him before this rock. They do manage to kill him before the rock, and unfortunately that just came down to the dumpster not being able to hit anybody. The infected play has been very good so far, but the tanks aren't working so well for them. It's very upsetting for them, really, because those dumpsters were very close, and he did actually hit them in the right way. You know, he had the right technique. It's just, you know, they clipped on certain things, and he wasn't able to make anything happen. He did actually only land a punch as well. Spit's going to spit in the ladder there, and there's going to be a hunted victim on top of the ladder. They're going to be looking to try and separate this guy. They do just that, exactly what they need to be happening here. Charger's going to be waiting for them. He doesn't need to rush. He can just wait here and go for the interception. They're going to send Ellis up first. They're going to charge him. He is not able to travel anywhere because he connects with the wall, which stops your charge and doesn't allow you to travel with your survivor. But as you can see, they have done a lot of damage there. That spit allowed them to actually get the jockey separation. The charger didn't have to rush, and he didn't rush. He was perfectly patient there. They may have to use some medkits here, so very, very good infected play. Just a shame about the tank. They need to keep this communication and this synchronization up, and they could even be looking at a total wipeout here of the survivors. They're going to be moving after this witch, but the survivors, the infected, the position for it. They don't actually go early enough this time. Ellis is pulled in the back there. He's going to be in-capped. None of the other spawns managed to make much happen, though, but then again, you know, they've taken a lot of look in this cabinet here. They have one set of pills to look forward to. And they need two of their survivors need a set of pills. So they may, you know, like I say, they may have to use the medkit, and they have done just that. Rochelle in the back there just used the medkit, so that's 25 points deducted from their total bonus points if they make it to the safe room. Hunter, Charger, Jockey, and the Boomer will be the setup. Quite a deadly setup, really. They're going to look for some separation. Boomer from above the hedge. I like the decision. Only lands onto one, though. There's a Hunter behind. Nice little dual cap there. Charger moves in. That's a tri-cap. That is well and truly a tri-cap. Very nicely done. I love how they're playing Infected here. Their synchronization is perfect. You know, I mean, they're doing as much as they possibly can. And if they just increase their tank gameplay a little bit and try and make their tanks work a little bit more effectively, they could be looking at more wipes in the next rounds, because, you know, this is very, very good Infected play. I'm very impressed. Boomer, Spitter, Smoker, final spawn, better not be a jockey. They're not going to be happy with that. It is a jockey. They have the worst setup in the game, arguably. Smoker's from behind, predictably going to be smoking Coach there. Boomer does stumble the jockey. He is still going to land onto Nick, though, temporarily. They're going to try and spit onto Nick to in-cap him. They won't be able to do that. Smoker is very low there on orange HP. He's only on 81 HP. His tongue is just about going to be revived here. He's going to look for a lance to stop the survivors from entering. He does pull Nick out and actually in-cap him, so they could make something happen. But if they are quick enough, they should be able to make it in here. Two spawns coming up. there'll be a Hunter and a Boomer, so they need to send these in as quick as they can if they want to stop them making it into the safe room. They're going to send them in, but they do make it straight in. They pop the Boomer. The Charger charges straight into the door that they closed on his face, and that's going to secure them a handsome bonus of 175. So they've secured themselves a good margin, but obviously you can't fault the Kool Kids Club. They do have a lot up their sleeve. You know, they do have a lot of talent. They do have a lot of potential. We're just going to have to see how they play now that they've sorted their game out. They are definitely playing a very good Infected side. Let's just see if they can translate that into a good Survivor side as well. While we're just quickly waiting here, I'm going to assign the tank to Flickshot.
Even their new stuff that ain't no good.
Flickshot will become the tank. So I think really with this setup, they're probably not going to show the Boomer. They're going to be crouching behind and vomiting over. Because the thing with the Boomer is that you don't actually have to show yourself to connect the vomit with the survivors. If you're crouched behind something, the way the vomit travels is it will curve over the object you are crouched behind and it will still connect with them. So it's a useful tip to keep it. They're all going to be moving out in synchronization. There's a lot of damage going out here, though. There's a smoked victim as well as the Charger. He's taking so much damage here. They need to kill this Charger. The Charger gets the charge, and oh, unfortunately, Nick has just been absolutely demolished. A lot of his HP has gone to waste. And when you compare it to the fact that the last round, they didn't take any damage from the Infected whatsoever, and you know, Kool Kids Club, they've taken... How much is that? That is... Oh, dear, that is 83 damage. Onto Nick, aka Frey there, so they're going to hope for a set of pain pills as soon as possible. Because of his slow movement speed as well, they're going to have another attack. All spawns moving in, very nicely synchronized as well. The Hunter's trying to connect with somebody, connects with Nick. Charger's going to scratch him as well. They're just absolutely pummeling Nick here. Boomer from the room there, he's going to land with 2 survivors. Nick is taking a lot of the punishment. I think really what they're trying to do is they're just trying to damage one survivor as much as they can so that they can deplete a medkit. Because obviously they don't want the survivors having too many bonuses, and obviously bonus points are rewarded for preserving a medkit in the safe room. So they're probably looking to get rid of Nick's medkit here, which I think they're just going to keep the pressure on him. I'm not going to lie, it looks like what they're doing. Smoker, Spitter, Jockey, and a Hunter, so they have a 3-1 minus the Charger. They might be looking to attack inside here, which they are doing just that. Smoker shut down quickly, Jockey shut down quickly, he's in the Spit, but he's going to run out instantaneously. They have shut down the attack. That's the kind of shutdown they need, really. Obviously, they had the advantage of not having to deal with a Charger, and I have to say that Veni, Vidi, Vici's Chargers are quite good. You know, they know how to play with the Charger. They know how to pin somebody with 1 SI, and then have the Charger pummel him with scratches. That's 10 damage per scratch, by the way. Like I say, so you know, you don't need to actually charge somebody to do lots of damage with the Charger. It does a lot of damage by scratching him. Speaking of Chargers, he's moving in. He's just by the Boomer there. The Boomer doesn't connect with anybody with his vomit. There's a Charger in the corner there. He's shut down. He does land 1 scratch, but he'll be shut down as well. So everybody was shut down with relative ease, but you know, Nick is maybe having to use a medkit here during this tank fight. Tank has now spawned, and as we said before, it's going to be in the hands of Flickshot. He's moving these dumpsters into play. I've actually had a few cases where I've hit these dumpsters from there and actually nearly incapped somebody just from the get-go, right off the bat. Yeah, dumpsters, they travel a little bit further than cars, honestly. So, you know, they can be a little bit better in this kind of situation. So spawns are going to be moving in here. There's a tri-cap moving in. Hunter hasn't landed yet. He's going to be M2'd and shut down. Charger does land on the Fray. There's a separation Jockey onto Ellis, though, behind the building there. They need to split their directions and free him. There is a dumpster in play. Tank has not taken any damage, but equally hasn't dealt any damage. He is on 6,000 HP exactly. Survivors are going to be looking to break line of sight, it looks like. Not successfully, though, because the tank can see them. He's just going to be looking to reposition similarly to how the previous team did, probably up the ladder that he's walking up to now. He's still on 70% HP, though. They're not really breaking line of sight, which is what they need to be trying to do if they want to force this tank to reposition. He has a dumpster to work with, which he's going to do. Boomer from the top there, nicely done by the survivors to notice that and move out the way. That Boomer was shut down, and therefore they're not at risk, and that's what we want to see. We want to see them shutting down the Boomers, because in this area, when you're surrounded by common infected, you can easily get hit by that dumpster. Charger moves in from on top. He gets a scratch onto Rochelle, but is shut down. I have to say, though, they are taking a lot of damage. Is the survivor side. They have managed to put the tank down onto his second pass. He doesn't really have a choice now but to move in. He is very healthy, though. He's on 5,891 HP, which equates to 98%. He's going to be moving that dumpster in, but obviously the dumpster doesn't want to go with him. It's just saying, no, I like this. He's moving it in. Oh no, it curved around the corner there and it manages to in-cap Ellis. They had a little bit more fortune there with the dumpster. They may be looking to kill him with this, actually, which they will be able to do. It's looking like a couple more hits. Then they need to pressure this tank and kill him before he kills Slipknot, but unfortunately, he is looking like he's going to go down here. Charger from the back on Rochelle. They're going to be scratching the in-cap victim to try and kill him. They're not able to actually secure the kill with the dumpster, but he will be going down to the... So, oh no! 2 more survivors have been in-capped by the dumpster. This could be it for them. Very nicely played by the tank there with the dumpsters. Coach has got 3 infected after him, including the tank. Oh, he will be in-capped gradually. Yeah, he will be in-capped by the dumpster and jockey combination. Oh, the margin is 1,000. They a little bit. I have to say it could maybe a little bit of bad luck in terms of how that dumpster curved round, but they should really have been a little bit quicker in terms of repositioning rounds the other side of the building they were on. Or that I'd say that like tent area. The thing that happened there, right, is that there's a little gap between the fence and the tent, right? What happened there is that the dumpster actually clipped onto the fence and did kind of like a turn around because of it clipping onto the fence. So he thought he was safe behind there, but unfortunately he wasn't. It clipped onto the fence and did a turn and just got him, and then followed by a double in cap with the dumpster again. So that was all she wrote, really. And I'm going to assign the tank here. This map tank is going to be in the hands of Surreal. Assigned, and I'm going to ready up. So there's still chances to make this work. They haven't lost yet. The tank is very early. That's what they need. They need to see an early tank, and they need to have a wipe here, and then actually survive as well. They need to try and kill this tank. Obviously, Veni, Vidi, Vici need to do that as well. Boomer does land onto 1 survivor. Smoker looking to get some separation. Hunter moving in as well. Tongue is cut. Hunter moves in, gets dead stops in the middle of everybody, and will be shut down. Total of 10 points on the board on the infected side. Spitter is going to be moving forward to reposition. Won't be able to get a respawn because he won't be able to get far enough, so he's just gonna go with the next attack, really. By the way he's positioned, he might be looking to spit there to actually get some delay. I'm not sure. Jockey is up so far. Another spawn coming up in 1 second, and final in 3 seconds. That would be a Boomer, Jockey, and a Spit's just going to prematurely spit there, actually, and cause some delay. They could be purposely doing that, though, so they can get a 3-1, because they did have a Boomer and a Spitter combination. Boomer's looking to vomit through the door. He isn't able to make anything happen there. Jockey in the back will be killed very quickly. Smoker from the front. Some damage happening. Nothing to rave about, but some damage is on the board, and some is better than none. Really is a catchphrase I've just invented on the spot, and I'm going to roll. So they have a Hunter, and another spawn will be coming up in 1 second. Final spawn in 9 seconds. So they're going to be waiting for that. There's no real way for the tank to play long here. It's just too closed of an area. They have a Charger, a Hunter, and a Boomer. I don't really like Chargers in this area. I'm not going to lie, guys. I think because of all the railings, it's very hard to successfully land a charge. I'm not sure what they're going to do, though. This is obviously their decision, and if they like the Charger, then they can feel free to keep it. They do like the Charger. They are going to keep it. Tank is now moving in. This is Surreal's tank. Boomer does get a successful boom onto 1 survivor. They were probably hoping for more there. Nice rock onto Ellis, and the spawns are going to be pouncing around, moving in. Chargers going on the railing there. Nice bit of separation onto Ellis. He's going to be successfully in caps. Hunter's moving in, trying to get somebody. He's going to get a punch onto Nick. He will die. So it looks a lot better than it actually was. That's kind of what I was saying about the Charger. The Charger couldn't really land on anybody, unfortunately, because it's such an open area. And the thing is, as well, is that there's so many railings. And railings are not a Charger's best friends. They're perhaps one of his arch enemies, really. You know, they make it so difficult for him. So they have a Spitter, Smoker, Boomer, and a Hunter. So they have a 2-2, which two pinning Kappas, that's the same thing, and a Spitter and a Boomer. Honestly, not the worst setup considering the choke point they have ahead. Just going to have to see how they play it. We have one spawn below, which would be the Boomer. The other three spawns are going to be up top. Spitter's going to be repositioning below as well. They have a Smoker positioned up. He unfortunately spawned a little bit too early, so they're going to chase him down and kill him. Not really any risk of anybody dying on the top there now, so they're still going to send the spawns in. Boomer is unable to connect with anybody. Hunter moves in, gets dead stopped and killed. The Spitter's going to move in. Doesn't really get a heck of a lot of damage, so that will conclude that attack. Survivor's doing very well here. Veni, Vidi, Vici, they're playing exceptionally well, and I have to say, I can't pick an MVP here because they're all pulling weight. They're all playing quite well. I can't really pick an MVP among them. They are doing. So, as far as they're concerned, they've only had one in cap, which was by the tank, and there's no more tank. You know, there's only one tank per map, so don't have to worry about that anymore. But they do have to worry about one of the most deadly choke points in the whole game, which is the roller coaster. Spitter's going to get rid of his spawn. They don't really want a Spitter here. They'd rather a Boomer, just for the added separation potential, and just the fact that, you know, they don't really... on a choke point like this, they want as many Kappas as they can possibly get, and I completely agree with them on that decision. Charger, Smoker, and a Jockey. Actually, no. They do have Kappas, so what they were doing there is, yeah, just stacking the Spitter for a Boomer. Exactly, yeah, I agree with that. Boomer's positioning from behind there. The Smoker's already spawned up. I'm wondering if they're going to chase it down. Boomer's going to move in there, getting a Boomer onto two Survivors. They're all looking at the Smoker, so they weren't able to get that. There's a Jockey moving in onto Nick. He's going to take full damage there and go straight down, as well as a smoke onto Rochelle there. Very interesting position that she's been smoked in. So they got an in-cap. That's what they need. They need to keep the pressure up. Their special infected gameplay is good. It's just the tanks are not that great. Jockey's moving in to try and keep him down. He does keep him down, actually. That's deadly, that is. Very well played by the Jockey there to keep him down. They're just going to be stuck in these common infected. They're not able to move forward. Coach is having to move back there. There's a Smoker waiting. He's going to be pulling Coach down. He takes not really very much damage there, actually, because he's not going to be hanging. Slightly mistimed, I would say, by the Smoker. They still have a Hunter and a Charger waiting on top, though. Hunter's moving in for the first victim. They're going to be landing onto Nick there, but no in-cap because it's not far enough of a travel downward. Smoker's still waiting in the bush. Boomer from behind. Boomer does not land onto anybody, unfortunately. He will be shut down with no success on his part. That will conclude the attack. Final spawns are going to come up in 15 seconds, so that's a 15-second gap, plus the time it takes them to set up to cover a very large amount of this choke point. You know, they want to cover as much of this as they can if they want to survive, because this is a deadly choke point, which we did see there. Jockey and a Spitter are going to be spawned up. There is a Witch there as well. They're going to be looking to deal with her. They have no choice but to deal with her, and here's the thing as well, they don't have a shotgun, so they have to really focus fire her. Which they're going to do just that. They're focus firing her as much as they possibly can. The spawns need to move in. She does get an in-cap nonetheless. There's separation there. There's a Hunter landing as well. This is very deadly, actually. A lot is going on. Two people are in-cap, centrally. Jockey's moving in onto Rochelle. She's going to be hanging off the roof. There's going to be a smoke onto the final victim, and that's actually going to be all she wrote. They're going to wipe them. That's what they needed. They were maybe a little bit fortunate that the Survivors had only Uzis there, but very, very well played. Very happy to see that, actually. So now what they need to do is just play a really good Survivor round. Obviously, that is much easier said than done, you know, on this map. Because that roller coaster, there are about 3 choke points where you need to be very good to make it through, because there's so many ways that you can make the Survivors' lives hell, you know, with that. In the meantime, I'm just going to assign the tank, which is going to be in the hands of Relax. So Relax is actually going to be their tank for this map and the next map. So initial setup is going to be Smoker, Boomer, Hunter, and a Spitter, same as last round, as always. Boomer's traditionally positioned inside the room to the Survivor's left, which is going to vomit through the window. They have Nick ahead, and everybody else is watching. The Boomer's a bit too far away to land. The Spitter's going to spit into the back there. Hunter's going to land onto Nick, but everybody's around him. They can make sure he doesn't take too much damage. Coach just really quickly running back while he has time to just replenish his ammo. They're going to move forward now. They're going to hopefully look to push a little bit faster than this, because they really do need to cover ground here and try not to allow the infected too many attacks before they get to the tank. But that was very well played, though. They did a good job with their positioning and with their awareness of where everybody was. That's something that they needed to work on last map, and they have put into play this map so far. Spitter, Jockey, Smoker, and a Boomer, arguably, like I say, you know, the worst setup in the game. So let's just see if they can make it work. They're waiting. Both teams are very patient here. You know, both teams are fairly scared, really, because there is a perfectly good chance here for the survivors to kill this tank and make it through that crescendo if they step up the game. Still a lot of patience going on here. They're just going to be clearing as many common infected as they can possibly see. And actually, they do have 3 shotguns as well. They have 3 shotguns and 1 Uzi on the Cool Kids Club, which I like to see. I'm not going to lie. I like to see shotgun players. I think it's because you know, I played a bit of Left 4 Dead 1 as well, and generally it's always shotguns, and I do quite like to see some shotgun gameplay. Looks like the Jockey is behind them there. They're still waiting, actually. There's very good patience, actually, from both teams. I'm impressed with the patience.
Reloading.
Tank is going to be up fairly soon. He is now up in the hands of Relax. The Spitter's going to just completely obliterate herself there and look for a better spawn. You never want a Spitter in a tank fight, really. Tank is going to immediately move in, actually. He's going to look for a pin here. He can't find anybody yet. They're all positioned very well. He's already on half HP, misses his first punch, but the Boomer has landed. He's missed 2 punches already. They need to really focus fire him. They could even actually kill him before a punch. Unfortunately, Ellis is caught in the stairs there. They're going to clear that Smoker with the Uzis, hopefully. There's a Jockey separation onto Rochelle in the back here. They need to get to her as quick as they can. There is Ellis pinned in the corner there, looking similar to the scenario in last round. The rock does not connect, and he's going to be repositioned. Oh, he's not. He's going to go straight in. He will die. So actually, to be honest, that was almost identical to how the previous round went for Veni, Vidi, Vici. Team VVV. They actually had 1 in cap, same as last time. So, to be honest, they're keeping it up. In moves the Hunter to get some delay. He's dead stopped and shut down very easily. Boomer from the back there. He's all very nicely popped by Mr. Jeer there. Nice pop on the Boomer. I have to say, if that Boomer landed, that would have been a lot more devastating for them. They have passed the pills to Slipknot, aka Ellis. He will be taking them to increase his movement speed, and they will be moving forward. Which they might even look to jump down here, because there's 1 spawn down at least for 4 seconds. Jockey is going to be waiting to catch them off guard, though. They're probably going to send 1 survivor down, most likely Ellis, because he is the temporary HP guy. Then, actually, they've chosen to throw down. Jockey's going to be moving in for the guys on top. He's shut down. There's a charger landing below. That's why they shouldn't have sent Nick down, because he's going to be losing all his HP and be going down, as well as a Hunter on him. They really probably should have sent Ellis down there, because he has a little bit more disposable health. They've put Nick in a bad situation here. He does have pills, so it's not the worst in the world, but they probably sent the wrong person down first. Generally, what you want to do is send the temporary HP guy down. So far, they have a Boomer, Smoker, and a Spitter. The final spawn they're going to be hoping is good. They don't want a Jockey. They do have a Charger. That's what they want. You know, they want a good setup for this indoor attack, which is what they're going to be doing. Chargers from behind, Smoker and Boomer same position. They need to be careful of that. Boomer lands onto 2 survivors. Charger lands onto Coach, but he travels too far. The Spitter couldn't predict where he was going to land. They're going to kill that. They're going to kill that off without actually having to worry about the spit damage. But you know, speaking of damage in general, they have taken a lot of damage so far. No medkits used yet, and they do have 1. I believe is 1. No, they have 2 sets of pills actually coming up in the cabinet. 2 people actually need pills, so that is a good number, really, that they're going to be looking for. Probably going to be looking to attack again, though. The Jockey's on the roof there, taking a little bit of damage. There's a Hunter waiting as well. He pounces in. He's pouncing around for distraction, gets nicely shut down. Jockey in the back onto Nick, shut down immediately. Separation Smoker onto Coach, though. Took some damage, so actually 3 people need pain pills now, and they only have 2. So they could actually be looking at a medkit deduction here. We'll have to see how they play it. So far, nobody has used a medkit, and if I were them, I would try and keep a hold of them as long as they can, because if they make it into the safe room with the medkits, they can close this gap even further. But like I say, easier said than done. They do have the roller coaster to get through, and there are 3 separate choke points that are, hell, absolute hell to get through. Charger, Hunter, Jockey, and a Boomer. They don't have a smoker for this, so they're just going to have to be hoping for stumbles for the Charger. If the Charger can get a charge from on somebody on top and take them all the way below, it can actually be an in-cap. Boomer from above, getting a boom onto 1 survivor. That could be to their advantage, though, actually, because that means all of the common infected are going to go for that 1 survivor, which means that all the other survivors for this period are not going to have to worry about common infected going after them. Hunter is pre-spawned and growling around, looking to cause some distraction and slow them down a bit. They're shooting through the railing. They actually chipped the Hunter by half there through the railing. Very nicely done. And the Hunter's almost dead, actually. He's going to be moving in and shut down. Jockey as well needs to be careful of this Charger. He is going to land, actually, and he will successfully get the in-cap, as well as Nick there, who's going to be hanging. They have a spitter ready and waiting, and the Jockey's going to be running back to get a respawn. He wants to be in a better position here. The spit gets some delay as well onto the in-capped coach. So, you see, they need to be very quick if they want to make this work, because there's spawns coming up as well. Spitter. They also have a smoker. That's not fortunate for them. They actually have a smoker, which is arguably the most deadly spawn for this event because of what it can do. Jockey does move in and is dead stopped off of the roller coaster. Spitter moves in for some delay. Boomer's going to try and boom onto Nick there. He does successfully do that. Thing is, though, is that when the common infected hit Nick, they're not actually going to delay the get-up animation, because when it's hanging, it's a different story. Smoker gets a pull onto Rochelle, but she actually is cut mid-air and therefore no fall damage because of the God Frames, and to top that off, she doesn't go hanging either. So no slowdown there. They have used 2 medkits, mind you, and they could actually be looking at using all of their medkits here, really, because they're not going to get any pills anytime soon. Not to mention the fact that they're very close to being in-capped. If I were them, I would heal. I'm not going to lie, which is exactly what they're doing. Nick is going to be healing up here. Hunter in the front there, just growling around. Spitter, Boomer, Charger, and a Hunter. Everybody moving in all at once. Charger only lands as far as Coach there, and he's going to be stumbled off and killed. There's a Spitter moving in to get some delay. He does get the spit, and the spit spreads very nicely there, actually, meaning they can't get him up until the spit kind of expires. They're going to be reviving Coach here, and they're going to be looking to move forward. Like I say, they're going to probably want to be using that medkit. The other thing as well, Mr. Jeer is black and white. They're not covering Mr. Jeer, though. He was taking some damage from the common infected, which could have been a death there. Nicely done by the survivors to cut the smoker tongue there and secure the kill on the smoker. That's going to be 3 spawns for the witch now. Boomer, Jockey, and a Hunter will be the spawns. Other spawn is in 15 seconds. Rochelle's going to be moving in, trying to bait out the Hunter. Witch is moving in, though. He's going after an Uzi target, but he slams her in the face with a frying pan, and that's going to be the end. That looked really good, I'm not going to lie. That smack to the face with the frying pan was the final blow. 2 survivors are hanging, though. They need to be very quick with reviving these survivors. Then again, they don't need to be quick, because the bug actually occurred where they both get themselves up. So, there you go. Oh no, that's Nick! Nick is gone! Nick is... Oh, see you later, Nick. That was a very nice stumble there by the Charger. They just sent Nick absolutely flying into... Well, I've said this a lot this game, but no man's land again. He just went for a trip, and he is not coming back. That was a one-way flight, that was. Smoker's going to be looking to get the pull onto him. If he doesn't get up with the bug there, he is actually dead, but he does get a part of this map, I'm not going to lie. He is behind, though, and pinned by the Hunter. They thought he was a goner, so they went forward. He's going to be in caps now. They're going to go back for him, though, because they have honor. They're going to be not leaving anybody behind. Smoker landing onto Coach there. Nicely shut down on the tongue, though, and because he was already in the animation, that's going to mean he's going to have to respawn his tongue. Spit is going to get a nice spit onto Ellis there, and Coach is not looking to move out of it. He's just going to be going down in that spit. To be fair, yeah, connection problems. I had a feeling. They're going to look to cut this tongue with the pistol bullets from the in-cap survivors. They do manage to do that. Jockey's going to be spawning up. He's going to be moving in. Final survivor is Rochelle. She's got loads of spawns after her. She's got a Hunter and Spit and Jockey. That's going to be it. It was looking so good for them until that Charger, until that one-way flight into death, basically. So that's a little bit unfortunate by Mr. Jeer there. I'm not sure why people are messaging. I'm not going to lie, guys. If anybody watching this stream is messaging, please, guys, don't do that, because you got to be respectful to these guys. They are playing a tournament here, and a lot is at stake. You know, so they do want to be playing to the best of their game. Try not to distract them if you can, because you know, this is a tournament after all. So for map 4, we're going to see another tank by Surreal. Surreal, personally, I've played a few games with him, actually. He's quite good. He knows what he's doing. He's very communicative and a good player overall. So we'll have to see how his tank plays here. Surreal will become the tank. So, initial spawns. Ooh, it's going to be a jockey, a smoker, and a charger. So, pretty good setup, especially with the spitter, which is the final spawn. Have to see how they play it. I'm really hoping to see some good gameplay here, because they're in, I've said this a lot, but it really does need to be mentioned as much as possible. Their infected gameplay, in terms of the special infected minus the tank, is very good. They're coordinating very well, but their tanks are just not making enough happen. So, you know, I'm kind of hammering home that point a little bit, but you get what I mean. It's, you know, something they need to be working on here. But you live and learn, and this is a great opportunity for new players to be learning different strategies and overcoming any weaknesses you may have. In this case, the tank gameplay, you know, they'll be overcoming that. I guarantee you. These guys are very good. And, you know, we're going to see an improved team. So, tank is at 78%. Very late tank, actually. Not really ideal for the special infected there. We've got the smoker behind the caravan. He's going to be getting a pull onto Nick, as well as a charger onto him, as well as a spit. Jockey into the safe room. They can't clear him before he gets behind the wall. Good damage there. Very, very good damage. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, guys. Their special infected gameplay is very coordinated and very good. I like what they did with smoking a victim there and then actually using the charger to pin him into that pillar. Unfortunately, the witch is spawned, though, and they are going to be going for her. She's in the room. He's going to go for the remote crown. He's running back here. She's going to be climbing over the bump. She's taken so much damage here. She's probably not going to be able to get anybody. She will be dying there. So that'll be the end of her.
Reload.
Boomer, charger, jockey, and a smoker will be the setup for this outside choke point. Every single spawn is actually on the roof. Jockey moving in first, charger second, gets a successful charge onto Nick there, but no spitters to capitalize on it. Smoker temporarily smokes Ellis there. He will be shut down. Boomer gets what's known as a 3-bag. I've actually just remembered a terminology from a caster in Left 4 Dead 1 that I used to watch called Vici. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Left 4 Dead 1, but there was a caster in that game, a North American guy called Vici. And I'm just remembering, with that terminology, the 3-bag and 4-bag and all that kind of stuff, remembering the legacy that is Vici and his casts. So, shout out to him. You know, I doubt he'll see this, but, you know. Jockey, spitter, charger, and a boomer are going to be the spawns. Not sure where they're going to attack, mind you. We're going to have to see where they choose to attack. It might, yeah, it's looking like from where they're positioned in the doorway, but the charger needs to be careful of that because he can stumble on the door. I don't think they're going to be going here, actually. No, they've decided against it. They're going to be moving back out onto the rooftop. Jockey is spawned up. He's tried to get some separation there onto the first victim, but they went back into the building there. Jockey's moving in for Nick outside. Gets dead stopped. He's going to be going down immediately. There was a boomer that went in as well, I believe. Or there was another spawn that went in that I missed, actually, but he ended up dying. So Spitter and a Charger is the only spawn, but they can't really attack with this. Tank is going to be spawned now. As I said, another Surreal tank. I have to see how he plays it. He's looking to move the dumpsters in. It is actually possible, just barely, to move the dumpster into that room. But as you can see in here, guys, like as much the same way railings are not a Charger's best friend, any kind of objects like tables and chairs and things like that they're not a tank's best friend either. Smoker's going to be getting rid of his spawn. I agree with that. I well and truly agree with that, actually, because the Smoker is not a good spawn for this area. They're actually shooting through the roof here. They're just trying to find the tank, because they don't need to worry about ammo, because there's ammo replenishment inside the room there. Tank is on 98% HP, so he's very healthy. He's probably going to look to move in now. So far, they have a Charger and a Boomer. Final spawn is going to be a Hunter. Not the worst setup in the world, really. He's on pass number 2, 25, 20. And then now going to look to be getting a pin. Misses his first punch there, gets a punch onto Ellis. The spawns are going to be moving in now. Boomer from the doorway doesn't land onto anybody. Ellis is going to get in-capped here, but Tank is already on 1,500. There's actually a double cap there onto Coach. He does unfortunately miss a punch. A little bit of frustration getting to him there, I think, which you can kind of understand considering what's going on here. Nonetheless, there was a charger and a hunter onto the same victim. That left him immobile for a very long time, which also meant that he could land another punch. He couldn't successfully get the in-cap, though. Jockey, Smoker, Spitter, and final spawn is going to be in 2 seconds. Spitter already chose to move in there. He was killed before he could even get the spit out of his mouth, so there's a Jockey, Smoker, and a Charger from behind. They still have a tri-cap to work with if they choose to. Smoker's from behind, going to be looking to pull Rochelle there, temporarily landing, but the tongue will be cut. The Charger just doesn't even get off the rooftop before he shut down. They focus fired him very well. They're going to have a quad Uzi setup because, see, the thing is that they couldn't actually replenish any shotgun ammo because there was no shotgun in the room before where they fought. Boomer from below the scaffolding there, he's going to land onto one survivor, which will be Rochelle, aka Carl. Smoker and a Hunter are up so far. Final second, which will be a Spitter. So we'll have to see how they play this. It's all going to really come down to this Hunter-Spitter combination. He could even be looking to get like a 25 damage pounce that you can get very high on this map with the invisible walls as well as the actual wall. Spitter, Smoker, Jockey, and a Hunter will be their setup. They're going to be moving in now. Hunter's pouncing around for some distraction. Jockey lands temporarily. Everybody going for pretty much the same target. Hunter dead stops and killed. Spit goes into no man's land, and that's going to conclude the attack with very little damage being done. No survivors are slow as well. Although Ellis is behind, they need to be careful of him. Ended up slow. Survivors are going to be progressing forward now. They could even make it into the safe room at this pace if they are fast enough. There's going to be one spawn coming up now, which is going to be a Charger. He's going to try and spawn behind the corridor there, but he wasn't able to. Hunter pouncing around in the back. He's going to be moving in, landing a pounce, but getting cleared immediately. Charger moves in, gets left. Or ship level, I should say. Spit moves in, separates Rochelle outside, but the Jockey dies. That will conclude this round as well, which I'm not going to lie, guys, and I hate to say it, but that basically means that mathematically you can't really come back from this. You're not really win this. Like I say though, like I always say, like I have said in my previous commentaries, it doesn't matter if you can't win because it's still a chance to learn, and that's kind of what. Unfortunately, my team did get knocked out, but like I say, even though we were losing our matches, we still took the chance to continue learning, use it as an opportunity to learn. Maybe even just experiment, because if you're lost, you haven't got anything to lose other than because you've already lost. So why not just experiment, try and find some new spawn spots, find some new angles, this, that, the other. That's what I'm hoping to see anyway. I'm hoping to see some attempts to improve. I'm really hoping that they keep their morale up for this. Final tank will be a relaxed tank, so... Everything done. So, match going live in 3 seconds. The setup is going to be the same as last round, as always. Spitter, Jockey, Charger, and a Smoker. I have to say, the Cool Kids Club did actually make this work very well. It was a very good attack with the synchronization. So we'll have to see if VVD managed to pull off the same kind of caliber of attack, really. Nick is actually moving out here, but he's going to be separated by the Smoker. Tongue cut immediately. Jockey landing onto Ellis there will be shut down. Charger moves in, gets a successful charge as well as a spit combination, maybe. He does land at the spit combination, but the spit doesn't really spread very ideally. So he was able to get out fairly quickly. Rochelle, I agree with Rochelle here moving forward. All spawns will be down for at least 5 seconds. She has all the time in the world to crown this witch. She does successfully do that, and that's going to award them 25 bonus points there. Not that it really matters too much because they have lost, but I like that they're still trying and staying strong. Boomer lands on 2 survivors there. They're a bit separated, actually. Jockey onto Coach, but he'll be shut down. Charger from behind there gets a stumble charge, but they do shut him down before he can get any pummels. Smoker's waiting on the rooftop. The damage is actually building up on the survivor side here. They need to try and... well, I mean, honestly, that was kind of a good spawn spot by the Charger there. A very good reaction times to be that quick. I don't remember who the charger was, to be honest with you, but whoever the charger was, that was very make the snap decision to get behind that cupboard there, or like shelving, I should say, boxes. Jockey, Smoker, Boomer, and a Spitter. The worst setup in the game is what they're going to be working with here. Smoker from behind, landing onto Ellis there with the split separation, but they do cut the tongue. Jockey is going to try and land onto Ellis outside here. If he does land onto Ellis, that is devastating, but not anymore. They have made it out. They shut down the Jockey. Smoker is on very low HP. He's looking to try and separate Ellis there, but he's not able to make anything happen. He might be looking for either a respawn or to sack the spawn. Bearing in mind they have the tank to work with here, and a Smoker in this area is not very good. Slipknot, aka Ellis there, is just going to chase down that tank, and the tank? What the hell am I saying? Smoker, not a tank. That is very different from a tank. Boomer, Spitter, Charger, and final spawn will be in 10 seconds. The tank is going to be up fairly soon, and as I say, it will be a relaxed tank. Just got a Boomer here, actually, but the positioning of the survivors was good there. They actually denied the Boomer by moving away from the vomit and getting out of range, so he wasn't able to connect with anybody. Very good decision there to move back. Tank will be up now. They're going to be moving back, presumably into the same house, which is what they're looking to do. They might be looking to attack here, the Infected, actually, with the Spitter. I agree with that. Hunter's move. Charger second. Charger lands onto Rochelle. They're going to look to pin her down, but it's, shut down very easily there, and the Spitter wasn't able to make anything happen. So I actually kind of agree with that. There is actually an interesting tactic there. Sometimes, actually, it's better to keep the Spitter just for an attack. Instead of just killing her outright, you can actually potentially make something happen with her, like maybe a charge spit combination to get somebody's HP down before the tank moves in. It can sometimes work in your favor. And it's the last Spitter you're going to get as well. The config doesn't actually let you have a Spitter after the Spitter you already have is dead. Boomer, Smoker, and a Jockey will be the setup. This doesn't look like a good setup, but actually for this area, it kind of is. Maybe minus the Smoker, to be honest. Tank's going to be looking to pin somebody. Already taken a lot of damage here, but the Boomer lands onto two survivors. They weren't watching for him there. Tank is still on 2,500 HP. He's quite healthy here. They're going to surround him with melee weapons. He's already nearly dead, actually, but he's landing very good punches onto the Boomer survivors. Nick is separated in the doorway there with common Infected surrounding him. Tank has got three people in cap. The Tank does die, but they do need to free Frey here. They do manage to do that, and Rochelle does have a katana. Quite an ideal melee weapon for this situation. The only spawn they have actually is a Spitter, but she can just go and revive the guy that the Spitter does not spit on. They also have a Hunter looking to get a scratch onto Nick. He does successfully do it. That Hunter can just keep him down for as long as he needs to. Hunter's moving in to keep him down, actually, to allow the other spawns to get up. He doesn't even need to land. He just needs to pounce around and make her feel uneasy. Hunter lands onto Rochelle there, and he's going to be scratched as well by absolutely everybody. Everybody's piling onto Rochelle. That's going to be the end of the match, guys. Unfortunately, a very large margin was created by team Veni, Vidi, Vici, which will be your victors on 3,114 HP versus the Kool Kids Club on 1,419. Nearly 2,000, actually. So, unfortunate, nonetheless. Very well played by both sides. I very much enjoyed the Infected gameplay, especially on the Kool Kids Club. Very good synchronization. Thank you guys for tuning in. As I said, shortly after this, there is going to be another game. So stay tuned, and we'll see you fairly soon, and probably with somebody other than myself, so there'll be two people this time. Thank you, and goodbye.